Starting off, due to your changes, Russia likely begins to support Bulgaria in the Balkans for South Slavic unity instead of Serbia. You guys agreed to that with 69% of you in fact. This would have some drastic effects in the future, such as Russia not coming to Serbia's aid if they are attacked by Austria-Hungary. This also pushes Serbia closer to the Hapsburgs, as they considered Macedonia more important than Bosnia, and they were already drastically close to becoming a puppet of the Hapsburgs in our history. Next up, France only agreed to assist Russia if a war started in the Balkans after the Balkan Wars, so I gave you guys the chance to have France not agree to this. However, 68% of you guys voted to have the historic option, so we don't need to worry about the possible butterfly effects. Next, I gave you guys the opportunity to improve the Russian military, such as creating a code for their messages. 60% of you voted yes, which means that the Russian army would be a little bit stronger. This butterflies away some of Germany's large victories at the start of the war, where they relied on the Russian lack of codes for their messages to win. Then again, it's impossible to predict how good this alternate code would be, so the Germans might fight it out pretty quickly. Regardless, it would buy some time though, that's for sure. Now I gave you guys a few options regarding how the war itself would start. The historic option, Serbian assassination of Tsar Ferdinand of Bulgaria, or another option. The assassination of Tsar Ferdinand won with 63% of the votes. But let us also take a look at some of my favorite war starts that you guys left in order. Bulgarian assassination of Franz Ferdinand, Serbian assassination of Tsar Nicholas, Serbian assassination of Tsar Boris III, who isn't even the leader of Bulgaria right now, both, he doesn't, Agadir crisis, a third Balkan war, the Kaiser eats a bowl of spaghetti, the Ottomans, whatever that means, Zog gets shot despite the fact that he hasn't held a government position in this timeline, a rant about the existence of the other option, followed by the Chinese assassination of the American president, Martian invasion of Germany, and lastly, one of you guys wanted to kill my grandparents, so I wouldn't be alive to make this video right now. To the person that wrote this, I would find you and I would make sure that you suffer. But yes, Tsar Ferdinand is shot by the Black Hand as he visits a city in Macedonia because his driver would take a wrong turn and his car would break down. Where have I seen this before? Anyways, historically Austria-Hungary waited a full month before sending Serbia their demands. I gave you guys this option as well, have the Bulgarians in this scenario declare war immediately or basically wait around and make sure that they secure support from their allies. 56% of you voted that they would wait and secure support from their allies. The Bulgarians would send a demand a few weeks or a month later, which would outright be refused this time around by Serbia, as the Bulgarians had destroyed Serbia in the previous two wars. As such, Bulgaria would declare war on Serbia, Austria-Hungary would come to Serbia's aid, with Russia joining in on the side of the Bulgarians. To sum it up, imagine the same sides as in our history, but Serbia and Bulgaria would be switched. Montenegro likely remains neutral, as they wouldn't stand anything to gain this time around. Now I gave you guys the options to vote on each nation's strategies for the Great War. I'm not going to go in depth to all the options like I have in the previous videos, mostly because there is a lot of questions and options to cover, so it would take a long time to explain all of them. The results would be on the screen as well, so feel free to pause and read them if you need to. Also, we're going to be focusing mainly on Europe, as the other theaters don't matter too much unless you guys voted for them to do so. We would cover them if something changes though. Let's start with the Central Powers. First up, Germany. It was tight, but 32% of you guys said to have them focus on Russia first, and just defend on the front line against France. This has the interesting side effect of Britain not joining the war as early, but we'll get there later. Next up, Austria-Hungary. 52% of you guys voted to have them focus on Serbia or Bulgaria first. Due to the situation we have created, the Austro-Hungarian army would be going south and assisting Serbia in their invasion of Macedonia. Lastly, Serbia's strategy. I want Montenegro in there as well in case Serbia still went to war with Austria-Hungary, but since they aren't, it would be just Serbia. 66% of you guys voted to have them just attack Macedonia, which is what they would be doing. Now let us look at the Entente nations. First off, Russia. 35% of you voted to have them attack Galicia, winning out just by a hair over the other options. France is next. 37% of you voted to have France try to convince Belgium to let them defend their territory from a possible German attack. Taking a quick detour to Belgium's results, 42% of you voted to have them buddy up with France. This means that the French now have a permission to enter Belgium and set up fortifications. We'll go more in detail later. Britain is up next. Despite the fact that their entry into the war would be delayed, they would still end up joining. 46% of you guys voted to have the historic plan. Lastly, Bulgaria. 55% of you voted for them to do their favorite pastime hobby, attacking Serbia. No surprise here. Now let's finish up the 1914 plans. Let's cover what the other nations' strategies are. Let's start with Italy. By a difference of literally 5 votes, you guys said that Italy would remain neutral. Talk about a tight race. Next up, Albania. They're going to honor the Albanian-Bulgarian alliance and join the war against Serbia and Austria-Hungary, with 45% of the votes stating this. This might prompt Montenegro to join the Central Powers if Serbia promises them territory from northern Albania, but I doubt that this would be enough for now. Let's go to a rather interesting choice you guys had for the Ottoman Empire. 45% of you voted for the Ottomans to start a parallel war with Greece, in a hope to regain Aegean Islands. As for Greece, it was really close, almost being a 3-way tie. 33.8% of you guys voted for Greece to stay neutral. I'm going to interpret this as Greece doesn't want to get involved on any side of the Great War, so they would have more options down the line. Now we have all the plans for the nations laid out. Yes, I missed a few, but they're not that important in the grand scheme of things. Speaking of grand scheme of things, the channel is almost at 100,000 subscribers. If we can get there before my birthday in March, I would be very happy. Make sure to like and subscribe, as it shows me that you guys want more content like this. With that being said, back to the video. Now let's get started. Straight off the bat, the first signs of fighting would occur in the Balkans between Serbia and Bulgaria. The Bulgarians would be on the offensive, and I think that they would manage to make some significant ground. This is what would convince Albania to join the war, allowing them to advance along a larger front. However, a few weeks into the war, any significant Bulgarian gains would stall, due to Austro-Hungarian troops arriving and helping in filling the Serbian lines. If I had to say, Bulgaria still likely has the upper hand militarily, but decides to stop after capturing a lot of Serbian territory as to secure their supply lines. The Eastern Front moves next. Germany sends the bulk of their army to fight the Russians. Despite the fact that Russia has enacted a few military reforms such as code and possibly better training, Germany would gain ground fast. A good chunk of Poland would fall to Germany, as the Russians would struggle to mobilize quickly. Lithuania and Poland would fall in the opening months, and by the end of the summer, the Germans would be in Ukraine. On the Western Front, all would be silent. Germany doesn't make any advances, just holding in the line. Belgium enters a secret pact with France, which essentially makes them join the Entente, but not in the war officially. The French defenses are built up in secret in Belgium, and a few small offensives will be launched on the border, with no major land captures on either side. By the end of 1914, Britain would join the war on the side of the Entente under some pretext, maybe German U-boats, and begin to send troops to the fronts as well. The British blockade starts later than in our history, which down the line might have brought Germany a few extra months into the war, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Now down in the Balkans again, in the middle of summer, the Ottoman Empire would strike Greek naval dockyards in a few of their Aegean holdings. Using the element of surprise, a few offensives would work, capturing some islands and getting a landing in Crete. Britain would step in and state that they wouldn't get involved, just as long as the Bosphorus would stay open to Ottoman shipping. The British and Ottomans would agree, and fighting would continue in a separate war. After the initial Ottoman attack, Greece would force them into a stalemate with their stronger navy. By the end of 1914, most fronts would be in a deadlock, and the Great War is virtually unrecognizable. Going into 1915, we're going to switch up the strategies, which I also had you guys vote on. Again, I'm going to be blitzing through them, pause to see the results if you want. Starting with the Central Powers, Germany would be turning around and going towards Paris. This is likely due to them thinking that the Russians have been basically defeated, so now France is the next big issue. Austria-Hungary would be focusing on the Balkans still, while Serbia would be attempting a counter-attack. Going over to the Entente, Russia would be amassing an attack towards Austria-Hungary, while France is going full throttle into Germany. Britain would be continuing their blockade, hoping to starve the Germans out. Bulgaria would be continuing their attack on the local Serbian population, while Italy would decide to do something. Since the top voted option is having them to attack if they're in the war, we would skip this option as they're neutral for now and go for option 2, which is having them join the side of the Entente. Due to Albania's strategy, they would be going with the third option, which is going to be on the offensive. As for the Greeks and Ottomans, they would continue their war without interruption. I did have you guys vote if Britain does Gallipoli, but since they are not at war with the Ottomans yet, this wouldn't happen now. However, if a war breaks out later, I would go with the results of this question. With each nation's strategy being covered, let us start with the Balkan situation and how it will change. Serbia and Austria-Hungary would seize the advantage first and go on their own offensive. This isn't too effective, as the front would have devolved into trench warfare, like on the Western Front. On the other hand, Bulgarian and Albanian counter-offensives wouldn't regain much land either. Overall, the front would be a deadlock. Going a little further south, the Greeks would begin to push back the Ottomans, retaking some major islands. The Ottomans would invest in their Crete offensive, hoping to regain some of the upper hand. Due to the Greek navy being strong enough to counter the Ottoman one, the Ottoman gains would be small, and their supplies there would begin to dwindle. Now let us get back to the Eastern Front. With Germany slowing their offensive to turn around and focus on France, the Russians would have been given some time to recalibrate. It's time for the Brusilov offensive, or this universe equivalent to it. The Russian attack into Galicia would go very well, as it did historically. A bunch of land would be regained, due to both Austria-Hungary and Germany not being focused on this front. This would lead to Romania more or less to do what it did historically, and to join the Entente. Unlike our history, however, they wouldn't get overrun instantly, due to Bulgaria not being in a war against them. With this alternate Brusilov offensive, Italy would also join the Entente and swam its head against Austria-Hungary. Despite the Italians being somewhat stronger, they are not strong enough to really make a difference to our history. At best, they would suffer less casualties, but there is still trench warfare in the Alpine mountains, so the front lines are not yet moving. This still preoccupies a lot of Austro-Hungarian troops and attention though, and provides us a nice distraction. On the Western Front, Germany is ready to prepare their own offensive. Swarming into Belgium, they would make steady gains, but they would be stopped before even entering northern France. This extra year of Entente build-up in Belgium has stopped the German offensive dead in its track, and the planned French counter-offensive is going to be devastating for the Germans. This would result in a swift Entente offensive northwards, which would see a portion of the German army be stuck in Belgium and be practically encircled, while France gains little ground near the Saarland. Germany would panic at this development of events and attempt to break out. They likely managed to do so but suffer great losses. I think that Germany is largely out of Belgium by 1916, save for the very eastern parts of the country. The German offensive would be a massive failure, and the guy in charge is 100% getting fired. I didn't let you vote on anything for 1916, as I don't want to make it too long, so I'm going to predict what happens in this year, based on what you guys voted for the previous scenarios. Let's start with the Balkans, where we would see Bulgaria and Albania to attempt an offensive into Serbia. With Austro-Hungarian troops now fighting on two other fronts, this offensive would likely succeed. Serbia would be fully occupied by the Entente, and now their army would retreat into Bosnia. We could possibly see Germany to force Austria-Hungary to give up Bosnia to Serbia in hopes to keep them in the war, which I would have happen, mostly because I could see you guys to vote in favor of this. In exchange, Germany would secretly promise Austria-Hungary complete control over Serbia at the end of the war. Russia would continue to lose a little bit more land to Germany, as the Germans would have moved more soldiers to the east after the Russian offensive in the previous year. Romania would manage to stop the Central Powers offensive into their own country with the help of Bulgarian and Russian soldiers, securing a solid connection between the two Tsars. Overall though, the Eastern Front would be somewhat stable. To the south, Greece and the Ottoman Empire would be still fighting in a separate war, but it's clear that it's not really working out. The Ottomans can capture the Greek mainland, and the Greeks cannot land and capture Constantinople or Anatolia. After the Ottoman Empire loses its grip in Crete, they would have to sue for peace. In the end, the war would end in a draw, and nobody would really get anything. Greece suffers economically and would isolate itself, not wanting to join into any more conflict. The Ottomans would also suffer, with their politics increasingly becoming more unstable, as the current young Turk government would become very unpopular, leading to some more Arab revolts. Now let's take a look at Africa. Surprise surprise, the British strategy is the exact same as in our history, so the front would go exactly the same. In Asia, it's also the same. Now, with this out of the way, let us go to the other two fronts. On the Italian front, Italy would make very small pushes but doesn't enter Tyrol. On the Western Front, it would remain a deadlock. Trench warfare doesn't allow either side to push more than a few hundred meters, and Germany continues to do poorly here. Alright, it's 1916 over, let's just go to the next votes. So I gave you guys 4 things to vote for regarding this year, starting with letting you guys choose if Lenin is sent to Russia or not. Luckily for Germany in their poor situation as of now, you guys voted yes, so that's a big load off their shoulders. You also guys voted yes to the Russian Revolution succeeding, which would happen later in the year. Lastly, you guys said that Lenin wouldn't implement the no peace, no war strategy and instead would sign peace with Germany. We would also cover this a little bit later. You guys were allowed to choose if the Americans joined the war or not. Somewhat surprisingly, you guys voted no. Interesting, let us see how this would go. Starting in spring, Bulgaria would continue their offensive with Albania. At this point, it may be possible that Montenegro joins the Entente if promised some Serbian territories, but they can also manage without it. Either way, Bulgaria advances into Bosnian lands. In the east, Germany continues to make some strong gains, with the Russian army running out of guns and bullets. Lenin begins to do a little trolling back in Russia and eventually starts the Russian Civil War. As soon as possible, Lenin signs a separate peace with Germany, giving up Lithuania, Poland and a smaller Ukraine up to the Dnieper River, and also some more reparations in the forms of grain. Overall, a better result for Russia compared to our history. Now, Russia devolves into a civil war. We would get back to them in the next episode. On the Western Front, however, nothing would happen. Germany might make some gains due to more troops being called from the Eastern Front, but this likely doesn't do anything huge. With America not joining in the war, the Entente lines would remain somewhat lacking, as American troops don't show up to help fight. Going to 1918, I gave you guys a couple of options. The Central Powers would go on the offensive in the last-ditch attempt to take Paris, while the Entente would try to land in Hanover, and let me remind you, these are the options that you guys picked. Let's start with the Balkans again. You guessed it, Bulgaria continues to make some steady gains. Italy would also begin to go on to the offensive, finally entering South Tyrol and supporting their Albanian allies in the Balkans. Austria-Hungary would be suffering despite the fact that the Eastern Front has been closed. Internally they're about to collapse due to nationalist unrest, but we would get to them a little bit later on. On the Western Front, Germany masses its forces for one last-ditch effort assault. This would be this universe equivalent of the Spring Offensive. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers, hundreds of tanks, dozens of airplanes, all in hopes to destroy the French for good. I think that they would see some nominal success, mainly due to the British withdrawing some more soldiers from the north of France for their next plan. The Germans would finally enter most of northern France, but wouldn't make any major headway. Further north, an invasion fleet is amassing at Dover. In the most dangerous British plan of the war, an attempted naval landing would be carried out in northern Germany as to capture the city of Hanover. We could see another battle like the Battle of Jutland to break out as to distract the German navy while the British troops would land. I think that these troops would manage to secure a beachhead and maybe the surrounding countryside, but as they would approach the city it wouldn't be so good for them. Naval landings at this time were already difficult. We saw that with Gallipoli historically, but against Germany on their home ground it wouldn't be pretty. But even then, the mere fact that the British could land in their shores would be a shock for the entire nation and cripple their morale. The British landing is likely forced off within a few weeks or months if Germany was that long. Either way, it would divert much needed resources from the Western Front, so the Entente would begin to push back as well. Next, I gave you guys the choices to vote on who surrenders before the Armistice is signed. Any option that got over 40% of the votes would go through, with the only two being the Ottoman Empire and Austria-Hungary. Since the Ottomans are not in the war, Austria-Hungary would be the one that would surrender, and they are likely collapsing into a ball of fire. But this is not important, let us get back to the other votes. In the last vote that is important for this scenario, I asked if the two sides would agree on an armistice in November 1918. 58% of you guys voted yes, putting an end to the Great War, which admittedly without Greece, the Ottomans, Portugal, America, Japan and China was a smaller scale than the one we had in our history. We also had two more questions on what would happen if you guys voted no to the armistice, but you didn't, so they're not important for this scenario. Here are the results though if you want to see. Very interesting. With the final shots of the Great War being fired, the two sides would agree to meet and sign peace. A peace that you guys have to vote on. Yes, you heard me, you guys would get to vote on the post-Great War order in Europe. Frankly, I'm quite scared, but somehow you guys know how to run a war, so I'm interested if you guys can create a peace that would last as well. The link to the form would be in the description and in the pinned comment, so you can fill it out if you want to participate. There was literally a question that had 5 people voted differently, the outcome would have flipped, and multiple others where it was very close. Anyways, check out the other videos in the series, and make sure to like and subscribe, as it shows me that you guys like this content. Have a great day and goodbye.